Justin, you're in charge.
No opening statement?
Are you ready?
No. Whenever you guys are, have questions, go ahead.
Has it slowed down for you yet, JB? You've been able to collect everything together, your thoughts, everything's been running wild for you for the last couple months?
It's been really fast and furious here for however long, a month and a half, here, almost 2 months now, and a large part of it is finishing the roster. It allows you to slow things down and get on the court. Yesterday was our first time really on the court here for the summer workouts, and I would have liked to have gotten a little bit more time in the office preparing for that, but we focused on three things. We focused on the relationship with the current roster, 2019 recruiting, and recruiting for the future. And those have been 99% of our time right now. And so the touching people outside the program, building some multiple relationships, kind of planking some things, will be the next step.
What's been the toughest task for you thus far?
I think like anything else when you take over an organization is just making sure you get everything in place. You spent the first several weeks running by yourself, and, putting a staff together has been a priority. We have that in place now, so things have now started to flow. Now those guys, now I got to give them the focus and their responsibilities and everything that goes within that. So I don't think you ever feel like you've gotten on top of anything yet, but certainly finishing the roster itself.
Obviously, go ahead.
What did it mean to you to have Jared come back next year?
That's great. Obviously you get to play in the league. You're coming back in the league and talented. The process that you went through is built for the student athlete. And the comment I made today to someone was, I want all our players who have the potential to have that to go through that process. That's what it was built for. Now, within that process comes, as the seat I sit in, you just kind of sit back and wait. You let them go through it. And when they decide to make the decision and come back or go forward, then you have to put things in place for yourself and for your program. So having him back's great. We were able to build a pretty good relationship prior to the workouts, and then when he was in the workouts, you kind of lose touch a little bit because he's so busy. So now we're kind of reconnecting since he's been back.
A lot of groundwork goes into getting those commitments, but it has to be pretty gratifying to have 4 new guys come in a 5-day period or something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of work involved in that. Our staff did an outstanding job. It was around-the-clock work, and it's not something I look forward to doing again. I really like the early signing period, and that's kind of the way we built our programs in the past, and we'll continue to do it here.
You talked about what it means to get Jaron back, but have you seen the buzz around the program with getting him and Javen in here?
Yeah. I'm not a huge social media guy. I'm sure people are saying or recognizing that, but between what I hear around the offices and stuff, and Brendel sometimes tells me things that I do or don't want to hear. So, I hear stuff, but pretty much I'm pretty focused and locked in for the most part.
Well, what have fans and alumni said to you about what they expect out of this program now?
I haven't got a chance to really interact with, as I made mention, I haven't really interacted with a whole lot of people.
You've been in the bunker.
Yeah, very much so. I've been locked in. And, this program will take on my personality. And, we're gonna have a certain style of play that we're gonna play, and our guys will have an understanding of that as time goes on. So those expectations within our program, we have goals and expectations within our program that aren't influenced by outside voices.
So no meet and greet, rubber chicken type stuff?
Not a lot. I've had some luncheons here and there, but Mike's done a great job in our administration, not spreading me too thin early on, so I can get the chance to get things that we need to get done. I had an unbelievable opportunity to have lunch with the national championship teams, and that was awesome. That was really fun. I really enjoyed that piece. But outside of that, I haven't got a chance to touch a whole lot of people.
When you're adding 4, 5, 6 players in one off season in the situation that you were in, how do you go about that balance of not only just restocking the roster for this year, maybe with a couple grad transfers, but then finding a couple high school kids that you think can fit in? How much is immediate? How much is long term?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it really comes down to the market. When you take the job at the time I did, there wasn't a whole lot left in 2019 that I felt like the impact us. Felt like the 2 kids that we got, 2 young men that we got will. So then you look at them and say, okay, we'll go the grad transfer route, which is what we did. And we got 3 really good grad transfers, and with 2 other seniors and Jaron and Trey, I thought it was important to make sure we put some people in place for them. But it really came down to a philosophical decision based on the current market and what was asking market with the current what was out there in terms of the ability to get involved with guys.
How long did it take you to get a grasp on the current market?
Well, to get a grasp on our current roster, with the portal and everything the way it is now. I mean, I've talked to several, other high major coaches that have taken over, and this time period right now to take over a program is really difficult because of the ability for guys to transfer so easily. So I had to get a grasp of our current roster first.
You said you've had yesterday was the first time you actually got together on the floor with your players.
Yeah, we started our 8-week summers.
How much, can you put a percentage, John, these days on how much a basketball coach at your level actually gets to basketball coach?
Right now, this is the first May that I've coached that I didn't watch film.
That you what?
I did not watch film.
You didn't watch film?
And for those who know me, that's really all I do. I mean, for the most part, I watch film constantly, and it's just because you have so much you had to get done. But to put a percentage on it, Doc, it seems to be less and less per year, maybe a little bit. But once you have everything established, you can get back to being the basketball coach that you want to be.
Is there enough time to get done what you want to get done, you think, before the season to get everybody on board, get everybody knowing?
Yeah.
You don't have a summer trip or anything
I
like
know.
that to play games, so.
So we've got 8 weeks here, and then we've got about 6 weeks in the fall. So it's about a 14-week period that we're able to do stuff, but we're limited in our time. In our 8 weeks this summer, we have 4 hours of basketball per week, and that's hardly anything. So, no, I wish we had more. So if there's a way to petition more, I'll take it. But we don't have the summer trip because they took that last year.
Can you go through the new guys and just talk a little bit about how you think they're going to fit in here next year?
Sure. I don't miss anybody here.
I got you.
Yeah. Micah is a young man, point guard. He's got a little combo in him. He's from Syracuse, originally signed in Nebraska. I think he's got a really bright future. Like anything else, a freshman, we always say our freshmen don't know what they don't know. And I think, they're going to experience that here early on. I think he's got a chance to be a real dynamic player. Jeremiah Davenport is, I may mention this before, he comes from a family of basketball players. His sister went to junior college, went to the Big East and became first team All-League. His brothers at Winthrop and St. Bonaventure got better as their careers went on. Mom and Dad played college basketball. He bleeds Cincinnati, and he's probably had 3 different Cincinnati shirts on. I said, "Did you get that from here?" He goes, "No, I had that before I got here." So basketball family from a legendary program in Carl Kramer's program at Moeller in Fort Union. Chris Vogt, who's transferred over, I've got a great feel for. I think he's going to be outstanding. He played behind Drew McDonald, but when I played him 20 minutes or more, he averaged 12.7 points and almost 7 rebounds a game when I played him 20 minutes. So you could say, well, what the hell are you doing not playing him more? But the guy in front of me was the best player, one of the best players in conference history. And then you got Javen Cumberland, who I've coached against for the last 4 years, so I got a really good feel for who he is and what he does, and his shot-making ability and ability to spread the floor, which is what we really need. We need some guys who can make shots and spread the floor for us, and his consistency and his approach to college basketball, and he understands. Jamie Cirillo, our big guy from Spain, who was at Valpo, I've coached against him. I got a pretty good feel for what he does. Really good ball screen defense, which is what we pattern our half-court defense around, and a really understanding of what it means, again, to go through the grind of everyday college basketball and be able to get after it. So,
What about the 2 guys who redshirted last year?
Q and Prince. Yeah, I mean, we've had 1 workout, so I think it was.
McNeil.
And there's no film. And McNeil, Chris McNeil, our point guard, whose last playing time was at New Mexico, who's I think he's a point guard, and we need one. He's tough. He's charismatic. He's an intelligent kid. He's got the ability to score from that position. His thing is he's played 2 years of basketball and 4 years of college. So he sat out twice. So there's going to be some rust that we got to get off of him.
Is there any insight about Chris and whether he'll be able to play next year, or is that something that just wait and see, or,
Yeah,
or are you gunning for that, or hoping he can?
I don't have any information on that at this point.
You mentioned the transfer rules a couple minutes ago. If you could change something about that, would you? What would you change about the way kids can kind of move freely in and out?
Yeah. Get me on that soapbox. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm all about the student-athlete rights and what they have, the opportunities they have, and making sure that they're in position to get what they need to achieve. But there's a level of free agency involved in it that just says, okay, I'm going to walk in and decide I'm gonna go somewhere, and there doesn't have to be any communication involved anymore. And, I think, how do you build relationships without communication? And I'm not saying those are instances that happen here, I'm just saying in general, that's why you have so many transfers out there. And, again, my opinion really doesn't matter because it's not gonna change anything what I think, but I think if you ask the coaches and whatnot, it's something that's dangerous for what we do in terms of you just never know what you have to literally have a staff member that watches the portal every day. Now, I'm not sure what the portal is, if it's a mystical thing that, but I just know that our staff has to make sure that they get on the computer and pay attention to who hits the portal. And I'm glad I get to make that decision because it's not my responsibility, so I don't have to look at the portal every day.
You've announced the bench assistants and a number of support staff. Are you hired out, filled out staff-wise? Do you still have positions to fill?
There's still one more position that we'll fill from support staff, but it's not something that I have immediacy on right now. Everything we need to run our organization and do what we need to do is in place.
Anyone that hasn't been publicly announced yet that you're able to today?
Not that I'm aware of. I wouldn't do it right now anyway.
I got you.
Good try.
I thought so.
How did the dancing bearcat on your Twitter become the symbol for fans? We got something going on. Be patient or hold on.
Well, you're the one who said that's what it means. So, again, not a whole lot of time going on right now. I looked at one of our GAs and I said, what do you think? He showed me a picture. I said, okay. So, kind of clicked it. And to be honest with you, I screwed it up already once or twice, so he does it.
Yeah, it's like Pavlov's dog. You do that and all of a sudden everybody starts clickbait. Everybody's mentioning and making messages of, who do we sign? Who do we sign? And everybody's contacting me and I know Chad's getting hit up everywhere because when they see that dancing bear icon, it's like, it means good news is about to happen.
So, maybe we'll have to change the meaning of it. Maybe it'll mean something besides just signing guys.
Another question. Recruiting for NKU and recruiting now for UC are the same coaches are you approaching, or does UC give you more access than you would have at NKU?
I don't know if it provides you any more access, but I think when you say the University of Cincinnati men's basketball, they kind of understand the brand a little bit more, and you don't have as much explaining to do. Now, towards the end, North Kentucky, I have a lot of explaining to it because we were so successful. But again, the market you're in, okay? So if you're recruiting mid-major or high major, the approach that you take, they're hearing from high-level schools. So, but what comes across to me for them is the brand of UC basketball in terms of success and the great basketball tradition and the new facility and the fan base, how rabid it is. I think those things come out pretty quickly. But whether it opens up more doors for us, we're going to knock them down anyway.
Having gone through this process, gone through this process of putting together a team in such a short amount of time, what have you learned about you and your staff?
I need a taller microphone, by the way. I feel like I'm bending down. I'm 6'8", so. What have I learned about the staff? Not at all. What I learned about the staff is I got an integrity-driven staff, and it's one of the hardest working staffs I've been around. A big piece of the staff that I put together was guys that understood me. Big on messaging, making sure that the message that we have gets out to our guys in the right way, in the way that's consistent, in the way that you would know when we're walking out of the meeting whether it was my idea or one of their ideas. And I think that's resonated with the class that we've signed. I think that's resonated with the brand that we've continued to push forward and how we want to do things, and that will only continue.
I know you couldn't get the new guys on the floor, any guys on the floor, but talking about the new guys, some of the guys who were staying, Trey, Keith, Trevor, what have you seen from them in terms of dedication over the past few weeks?
Well, Trey went to a leadership camp that we sent him to this summer, and he really came back. I thought he did a great job in the one workout he had yesterday. I thought he did a great job of leadership. Trevor Moore's been constantly in the gym, from what I've seen. Keith Williams, I was telling him the other day, if I had to draw a picture of a guy that, for our style of play, in terms of what they look like, it'd be Keith Williams. And he's a guy that's just, he's just getting bigger and stronger each and every day. So, not being around him a lot, and I certainly can't be in the gym with them a lot because they've been gone for the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been insanely impressed with their character and their commitment level to this program. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.